Why do you feel stuck even when you know so much? It's not your stuck, it's your state. For builders who nailed the tech and now face the rest, this is UNCODED, translating tech into profit.
Hi everybody, today we are in UNCODED with Lennart Rohwer. Lennart is the operational mind behind the Clarity Accelerator, and I like a lot the work that Lennart is doing, so I decided to invite him in this session because I wanted you to understand what he's doing, because it could be very beneficial for you. Today we have also with us Miles. You have been knowing Miles, and Miles will help me to ask questions to Lennart because he is a young founder, so he has skin in the game. Okay, Lennart, introduce yourself. Tell us something about you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Lennart Rohwer from Germany, and I started my first business when I was 19 years old. I started a camper van rental company with my girlfriend together. And yeah, that was obviously, I started with it super eager to build something great. I was so ambitious. I knew this is going to be the one camper van rental. It's going to take over Europe. Very ambitious and very idiotic in some sense as well, because later I realized, really, if you're starting young, you have no idea basically on what you're doing. You're having a vision and you're having the eagerness to grow. But I started having a really hard time. Yeah. Financially, we were doing okay. We started, with the first van, it went well. So we started converting a second one. And then I always felt like I was pushing a lot, and it felt like it was a super heavy rock that I had to bring forward somehow and get success. Through that, I started thinking a lot about my business, a lot. Waking, like the most intense for me was when I just woke up in the middle of the night all the time, thinking about my business, thinking about the conversion, what I have to build. At the same time, legal stuff, filing the company, all these different things were going on in my head. And I thought this is normal. I thought this is like entrepreneurship and it has to be that way. And then I realized later when I was able to go to Babson College, which is the world's leading school for entrepreneurship in Boston. And there, all of a sudden, I had mentorship from like super high-level mentors who had $1 million exits before and just came and talked with us. We had system to follow, guidance, and most importantly, there was a community of other people supporting us. And that was my insight for me on how much lightweight things can be and how much things can go more in a sense of flow. And that was my motivation to found a powerhouse, this community for, entrepreneurs to support each other. And we realized over the years that overwhelm and lack of clarity, this is problems that most people face. So now we help all kinds of really ambitious people who really have the drive, the eagerness to wanting to become better, to gain more clarity, and to focus on what really matters. And this is kind of like my transformation that I needed most, and so that's why I do it now for others.
So basically you are working with people like Miles, by the way.
Yeah, yes.
Very
He's
ambitious
also part
people.
Of the community.
Very ambitious people, very strong, very hard, very proud, and also very good. Okay, so we are talking about clarity and founders. So my first question is, working with founders that have been hitting the wall, not because they are failing, but because they are succeeding too chaotically. Mm-hmm. Why do you think clarity is the most underrated growth level?
Yeah, totally. I think, that's exactly what you're saying. At every stage of entrepreneurship, you are eager to build something in the future, right? Because that's the nature of it. You want to have a vision, you want to put it into reality. That means you're thinking a lot about the future and you're making plans about the future. And it's easy and only normal to slip into living for the future all of a sudden. And it doesn't matter if from the earliest stage of entrepreneurship you have these challenges of overthinking, of having to think a lot to build something. You're planning so much, and this all creates pressure for you, right? But it goes from the very beginning till the very end. Like yesterday, literally my partner, Andreas von Esthoff, he interviewed a founder who did a $80 million exit. Yeah? And the two things that this person said afterwards were the day after he sold his company, how he felt was empty and unemployed. And it doesn't matter at what stage, right, you are at your business. Clarity and in the sense of being focused for yourself also on what matters most is a very underrated skill.
Oh, there is this myth of the strong founders, which has an external reference. You are strong because they feel you that you are strong. But normally, the more you show that you are strong outside, the weaker you are inside. I think that is, what do you think about this? And don't you find that is the other way around? You have to build yourself from inside, and then if you build yourself from inside, everything will get out naturally.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I couldn't agree more, and I think for me, how I jumped into entrepreneurship, maybe it's interesting to say that. So I started like right after high school to be incredibly passionate about personal development. I just like read Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle, and I was like, I'm gonna become better 1% my entire life, yeah? And then you just end up at a point where you realize reading more books and improving your personal habits and so on, there's an end to it, right? Of continuing to improve. And so for me, that's how I ended up being into entrepreneurship, because I saw this as a way for myself to challenge myself, to become better. And that's why it feels like a very, very real thing to me and very direct. And I see it as just getting better. But many people also are in this different sense of like feeling that you want to show to other people. And that's our ego. Right? Like, I don't know, you can talk with this from different perspectives, but in the end, all of us have an ego, right? This story that we tell about ourselves. And the more this is about telling a story to other people and telling like how beautiful things are, the more fragmented it can become for you and the more challenging it can become for you to really feel like this is your own story and not just an image that you're creating of other people. And once this is getting too far in between, right? This image that you're creating and the actual version of yourself and how you're feeling and the challenges and the ups and downs, which are totally normal. The more this is becoming distinct, the more pressure it creates for you and the more stress and the less clear your decisions are going to be, and that's going to impact your business.
I really love what you're saying, Lennart. And for me, in my experience as well, as I began my business, I really felt that it began to work on me. And like you said, it's supposed to push you and essentially take you out of your shell and your comfort zone. So I really resonate with what you said there. So I think my question for you would be, there's actually, before I get onto the question, there's actually an amazing quote, but I think it's from Steve Jobs. And he said that focus is the ability to say no to thousands of amazing ideas so you can focus on your one idea. So this basically leads on to my question. For an early stage founder, a few major components which they would need to be focused on, and if they're not spitting that across some co-founders, the entire toll will be on them. And I can say I've experienced that myself. So we're talking finances, legal operations, the tech, the vision, networking. I think I've hit the core ones around that. So how would a founder know what they need to focus on, what they need to do in order to say no to everything else, this plethora or sea of different things which they need to do or manage within their business, and what should they focus on to reach clarity? Good question.
And before I answer, I'd love to go to something you said in the very beginning,
yes,
which I think was very wise. In the end, it was about that your work works on you more than you work on the work. And I think this is just completely changes the perspective on entrepreneurship. This is not about the results. It is about who you become in the process. And the best impact you can have on that is who you are today and the type of person you are right now and in this moment. And I think this is the core that changed my perspective on entrepreneurship and also my experience on anything I do in life, is that I see the vision that I want to achieve, and then I think about, okay, what would this version of me do today? And the more I can get closer to this, the more certain I am that I'm actually achieving my goal. And then the second part of your question was regarding how to structure yourself. I'd see it in a way to, focus in the end can also be like what helps for focus, is structure. And in a business or anything that you do, you have so many different areas of life, right, that you can focus on. And I'd pull this back to all the different things that you, right? Business, you have networking, you have finance, you have legal, you have marketing, all these areas. And then you also have a normal life, right? On your family relationships, the relationship with your friends, the time for yourself, all the other things like the normal household things. These are all things that require time. And so core to focus is being very intentional with your planning. And what I recommend there is just to do one thing, at least once a year, to clarify your long-term vision, meaning the different areas of your life, right? Yeah, and then for every area to have a certain plan, right? A roadmap. Where are you? Where am I right now? And where do I want to go in a year from now? Yeah? And once that roadmap is kind of clear, this can become your North Star, this guidance that you're working towards. And if it changes, that's totally normal, then do it every quarter, yeah? Every year. You're gonna find a pattern. Focus, is established, that North Star direction. You're already pretty far, in the sense of gaining more clarity. This is exactly what we do in our Clarity Accelerator. First session, we figure out the life compass, what direction to go towards. And then the second thing regarding your business, right, is mark the different areas of the business. And I would say with business in the beginning, especially if you're a young entrepreneur, it's tempting to make master plans and write all these different things. And I certainly did it so many times. I don't know if I look back on these master plans, what kind of business I was sometimes assuming I was going to do. It's really funny to read this because things change so quickly. So for focus, I recommend the quarterly planning. So for a quarter to really for 90 days, this is what I'm going to focus on. Because that's usually, it's also scientifically proven that 90 days is an area where we can still kind of grasp what's happening. Longer than that is more difficult for humans to plan. So 90 days planning, and then just a reset every 90 days. So going through if you're co-founders or if you have a bigger team, with your entire team setting the plan one day. There's also many nice structures that help you do this, but having that 90-day plan, yeah? And then what matters next is the weekly planning. And weekly planning, what we do in our community is every week we just sit down together and plan our week, starting by our priorities, what really matters, yeah? And then going down and really focusing on the top 3 things. And it doesn't matter that much that you're getting it right exactly, right? If it's marketing this week, or if it's this and this, and if it's marketing legal and so on, but just setting, these are my top 3 things after around an hour and a half, 2 hours best estimate. And then there's this helpful mental frame. And then I stop with that, is that you have your managerial time. This is your managerial time where you're planning. And then you hand this over. The miles who planned the week hands this over to the miles who's the worker miles. And then you're only able to execute. And this way you lead with more focus, and then you actually follow your plan. And that way you gain more, and then you learn step by step, and you become better during the process. But that way you're not guessing which is right today. You're not waking up during the morning and okay, what do I do today? No, you have a plan, you have a structure, you follow it, and you track your results. This is what's bringing you more focus.
Perfect. Now, I want you to, while you were discussing, I got an idea. So I want you to pitch your program to me. My buying persona is kind of a young guy, not exactly an entrepreneur yet. Mm-hmm. In his 20s, completed college, asking himself what to do and where to go. And he jumped on your website, it get interested in what you do, and would like to understand if you are a good fit for him and you are a good things to do. How do you pitch yourself and your program, obviously?
First of all, I think the core of pitching to someone, right, is really understanding or making the other person understand if you're Maurizio and you're 20 years old, right? If you are this type of person,
I would like a lot,
yeah,
but I'm not.
that we help best, right? And we can be very clear, and then you can filter for yourself, right? If you are that type of person. So who we can help best is this type of entrepreneur or person who would like to achieve a lot, who's really eager to wanting to become the best version of themselves, to build something that's significant, have an impact to other people.
Someone like Miles, basically. Someone like Miles.
All the 20-year-old version that you just described who finished high school, maybe. Yeah? And then at the same time, the people that we can help best are those who are really eager to are running this marathon for a long time now and to really grind hard and be disciplined whatsoever. But right now are unclear about the next step and are unclear about their roadmap and are feeling overwhelmed, having problems with overthinking, constant mind activity, running, spinning, but don't know really getting forward. These are the types of people that we can help best.
Okay. Your program is online, or there is also a residential version of it?
Yes. So what we figured out is that we work, like we did programs online, we did programs in person, but our programs online had the most measurable impact in their clarity. And it's interesting because it would be counterintuitive to what I thought before, that in person is best. But people tend to just show up always online because things don't get in the way, right? Mm-hmm. And so our programs, we have our community, which is totally free for anyone to enter, to just experience this, because clarity isn't something you can touch, but you can experience it in our community. And that's completely for free, and there we have all different online events, and sometimes we also have in-person events in Barcelona. But then our main Clarity Accelerator, that's a fully online, 5-week structure to bring people from overwhelm to clarity in the most guidance possible, right? In the easiest way possible for people.
Okay, you in the material I read about your program and yourself, you talk about building a mental operating system that doesn't crash under pressure, okay? What does that look like for a founder leading a fast-growing AI or SaaS business? What is this mental operating system?
Right. I think in the end, mental operating system, it's just a word. But in the end, what most founders struggle with is this sense of you run this business and you have so many things at the same time. How do I lead with focus, and how do I organize myself best so things are, in the best way possible? And for that, there are different strategies that you can implement it. I think, so core of our strategy is a very, very simple concept, which is that we teach you, and it's really simple. I can tell it in 1 minute what it's about. And so anything that challenges you on a day-to-day basis, right? Any unexpected change in your business, anything personal coming in, anything that you would not necessarily have planned, right? These things are all there to make you better. But that's sometimes always much easier said than done, right? Yeah. So in the moment you feel the struggle and you're really struggling, shit, there's so many, and you feel it, your body is reacting to it and you're getting stressed and so on. What helps is first to accept it. To accept not only the thing, the reason for it, but also your emotional reaction. And the best thing you can do is just taking a step back and noticing your emotions and then fully accepting that. This you can do in 10, 20 seconds. And then the second step is to change your perspective. And changing your perspective means seeing that our brain has this emotional negativity bias, which is trained into our system because we want to survive, right? We want over the years, we were just trained to see all the dangers in order to survive. So we see the full picture when we focus on gratitude and when we focus on seeing what we can be thankful for. So instead of this problem is consuming me, like this problem is so much, you see this problem, then you see, I'm breathing, I'm grateful for the people that I'm with, I have enough food today. So this problem just becomes one out of many things. So you accepted it, you step back, and now you see the full picture. And then the third thing is going back to action and structured action. So what you do is you just write down a plan for the next 3 things you're going to do. Your best guesses on what is the right next thing. You just write that down and then you just do it. That's it. You just focus on only those that are written down there. And that way you are letting your mind let more space to just be. And that's ultimately what we want to help people with, is to feel like you're achieving your vision on a day-to-day basis, because today you're feeling that you're being successful. Today you're coming forward and you're becoming better while you're growing your business. So this is what I mean with a mental operating system, right?
Understand. Very, very clear and very nice. I think that this is very, mostly at the young age, it's very important to have a kind of mental discipline, not going to the automatic thinking that is governing our thinking every day, but, be able to stop and focus what we are thinking, and then what we are doing. It's very, very, very nice.
Yeah.
I would like you to explain me, and I don't see Miles anymore, so it means that he had some problem anyway, but we will continue. I would like you to explain what you mean by almost winning.
Almost winning?
Yes, almost winning. Founders that don't burn out from failure, but they burn out because they are almost winning for too long. Never go there. What do you mean?
I don't know if I said that way, but I can imagine so what you're meaning is, or what I understand by this is, founders don't burn out by founders. Can you repeat this one more time?
Yeah.
I think I didn't.
Founders don't burn out from failure because they are failing.
Mm-hmm.
They burn out because they are almost there, but still not yet.
Yeah. Okay, now I get it.
So they continue to chase and to grind and to chase and to grind, but it seems that they are not reaching the place that they would like to be. Never.
Yeah. And that's something that is ultimately about, one, the nature of entrepreneurship, which is that you're always wanting to become better, always wanting to build something better. Like I also saw in your WhatsApp bio, it's like, I think it was like, great is not great enough when we're always wanting to become better, right? Yeah. Or maybe you can say it in your own words, but
I don't remember actually. That was a phrase of a friend of mine, which is Indian. Good is not enough when better is expected. I think it's something like that.
Yes.
Which caught me at the time. It was 2013, because this guy was very, very good and very demanding. But it was exactly like that. He would never stop. He was always willing more from everybody who was working with him.
Yeah. And that's entrepreneurship, right? And that's anyone who's eager to really build something fantastic and is ambitious. And at the same time, it's the ultimate road for failure in your personal success. Because when you are always expecting something in the future to give you fulfillment, to give you happiness, you're always chasing, but you're never really arriving. And we want to flip this picture of you feeling great today, feeling that you're accomplishing what you want to become today, and accessing this energy of you in the future, which is that the person that you're always working towards is the person who is focused, probably. I'm just guessing, but it's different for anyone. But often it's someone who's focused, someone who's energetic, someone who's loving, who's kind and supportive to other people and fun, that type of person. Mm-hmm. And through accessing this energy today, right now, and feeling that like you are arriving today, we're in your vision, achieving what you want to achieve today, and through this energy, sending that out to the world, and therefore, you are a totally different being, totally different person with other people to interact with. you understand people more. You don't just push through your goal, but you've achieved already what you want to achieve. Isn't that great? Like, you are becoming better. You're living your vision, right? And through that, you have better impact on other people, better impact on your business, and you're actually achieving your vision. This is how you survive.
Yeah, and which is also producing what we were discussing before. You are more stable, you are more balanced, and you immediately give the feeling that you are, solid in your position and you are solid in what you do, which is very important. I've been maybe because I am Italian, I am very very explosive in what I do. Now I am 59, so energy is a little bit less. But when I was very young, I was always moving, always doing new things, always. But this give to the other a sensation of you which is unbalanced, which is somewhat difficult to grasp. You are someone that is considered, yes, in a positive way, but this guy is a lower praise. I learned that when you interact with people, you have to be balanced. You have to be centered in yourself, because if you are centered in yourself, everything else will come by itself. There will be no struggle to get yourself out of it.
Yeah, and you're calm, and if I'd like to add like one last thing to this is you are not only pretending to be in a certain way, you are just you, and through being you, especially in the times of AI, this is your competitive advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understanding and being able to put yourself into the other person's perspective, listening, and this can be sometimes hard when there's like you are challenged with so many things, and that's why like I was in exactly this place where you see the value of all of this, but it's difficult to start with it. And that's why I am such a big believer in our free community, just for people to just enter, see what clarity is about, see what other people are doing to support each other. And then from this space, we just lead with more clarity and more calm.
This fix one of the main problem of entrepreneurship in the world, which is solitude. Most of the entrepreneurs in the world live a solitude, a solo life. They are doing everything by themselves. They are not able to talk with anyone. So having a community that share your problem, that share your struggles, it is very, very important to grow and to be better at it, let's say.
Yeah. And last thing I would like to say is also about reframing success. And everyone has a different idea of what success is for him. But I think oftentimes this is influenced by society, and people think that success is how much money you have in the bank, while we believe that success is how well you sleep at night.
Absolutely.
And that changes.
How much you are grounded, how much you are balanced. Okay, we completed our episode. Miles got lost somewhere. I don't know where is he. But anyway, I thank you very much. Sorry?
Maybe he's meditating and implementing.
He's meditating somewhere. Yes, he's meditating somewhere. I thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you here. I hope that more and more people, founders, will join your community, because it's a very good thing for them to do. Because we grow together. We don't grow alone. We grow together.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Maurizio.
You're welcome.
Really enjoyed it. All the best with the podcast, and well, we've been in touch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Follow the show so you don't miss any episode. And remember, for those looking for the secret sauce, there is none in the soup.